This pattern alone is why you're not seeing results. This pattern alone. It's not the diet you chose. It's not the exercise program you chose. It's not the supplements you chose. This is it. Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection YouTube channel, the channel where we debunk the eat less, move more, shrink more mentality and focus on what really matters, your beliefs around your body, food, self-worth, and teach you behaviors on how to respect all three. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. And in today's episode, I am going to talk about why your perfect plan always backfires. I was having a conversation with a friend this weekend about the all or nothing mindset, and she was just like, I can't believe that I never learned that before, and now she uses it all the time. So, here at the Mindset of Mirror Connection, we believe what you see in your mind, you see in the mirror. So, let's talk about why. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection. I love to see your beautiful faces, even though I can't see, but I bet you look beautiful today. Look in the mirror. There she is. There he is. We have guys too. For those of you who are new to this podcast, I like to banter and talk about my life. Things I like to talk about: dogs, traveling, reality TV, stupid shit I hear. And yeah, that's true. Workouts. That's really it. Speaking of workouts, I very much overdid it on the lift club that I went to last weekend. And my poor little back, it's so annoying. Like, I hurt my back and it seemed fine. Like, I just rested Sunday. Monday, I think I worked out. Tuesday I worked out. And not until Tuesday night did I went to sleep and I woke up and my back was all jacked up again. So then I took Wednesday off. Thursday I did mobility. Friday I did mobility. Saturday I did mobility. Today is Sunday and I'm hoping that I can get back to my training because I'm really enjoying my training. We bought a new rower machine. So now we have the treadmill, we have the rower, barbell, like the whole rack, cable machine, and we have the freak athlete. I want to give a little review on the freak athlete. So the freak athlete is like a 11 in 1 machine. You can do, it's a lot of posterior chain work, but you can also do some upper body. So it gives me access to doing a leg extension, a leg curl, a Nordic curls, GHD sit-ups, GHDs, hyperextension, 45-degree hyperextension. What else? It has a hip thrust little thing. I bought the belt squat for it, so now I can belt squat. It also has a calf raise. It's insane. And it just folds up. It's like a, what are they called? Transformer, literally. It like folds up and then it just like moves into all these different things. Highly, highly suggest this piece of equipment if you have room for it. Now, it is a pretty penny. All of that is going to cost you roughly $1,500. However, I did find mine on Facebook Marketplace. So I ended up paying $800 for it. And I just recently bought the belt squat attachment, which I do love a good belt squat. So definitely recommend that. So yeah, our gym, I think we're at capacity. My husband isn't going to be like, stop buying equipment. So I think we're good for a good time, a good amount of time. And I hope that I can get back to the work I've been doing. But I will say, you guys, mobility, especially correctly done, really does kick your ass. When I was doing my mobility on Thursday, like I'm doing like crossbody windmills, I'm doing single leg work, I'm doing ISO work. And I was shaking. I was sweating too. I think a lot of people think mobility, they think stretching. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about like functional movement and moving with control. So when I'm doing a windmill, I'm not just like, I'm really controlling it down. I did a lot of pelvic floor work because I felt like if I can really strengthen my pelvic floor and glutes, that will help relieve some of the back pain, which is very true for a lot of women. It kicks my butt. So if my back is still not feeling up to par, I'll either do a lighter workout for this coming week or continue with the mobility because I kind of love it. So that is that. If you follow me on Instagram on Friday, I woke up, you guys, and I wake up often feeling stressed. And in the morning, I sit in a quiet room. I write, I pray, and like just meditate and I read. And that helps to bring the stress down. My cortisol is just probably super high when I wake up, which is normal, but I think mine is probably higher than it should be. And so I manage that. Then I went and took Liberty for a walk and I came home and I sat down and I was just like, I don't feel right. I feel very emotional. I felt like I could cry at anything. And I felt very stressed at the same time. I just felt off. And my brain was like, you need to work out. You need to work out. Because that's when I work out right after I walk with Liberty. And I was like, no. And I had that moment of clarity. And that's the cognitive behavioral stuff that we're going to talk about in the mindset of menopause. I said, your body is telling you it's off. You know, right now, your hormones are not where they used to be. Rather than push through like you normally would, let's just rest and do some mobility. And I did because I knew if I would have kept going, it would have felt even worse. So I did the rest and mobility and then got ready for work, worked in the morning, and then I went and got a facial, which was really helpful. I cried on the facials. Shout out to Love Your Face, my girl Jen, who does my facials. I just cried when I was there. I just needed to get it out. And I want you to know, like, if this feels real for you, it's a real thing. We have to remember we're not just being crazy. We're not just being emotional. Like, your fucking hormones are off. And that that's not just a thing we say. It's a biological thing that's happening. And once we can accept that and say, I feel off today. It was so nice. I'm gonna cry. I said, Mark, I just feel off. I feel awful. I'm barely emotional. He goes, well, what about? I go, that's the thing about nothing. And he goes, okay. And luckily, I already had an appointment with my psychiatrist about the medication I'm on. And she reminded me they gave me anxiety meds for when Mark and I went on that trip like a couple of years ago or last year. And she goes, you probably just want to take one of those. I go, oh my God, I forgot I had them. And I took one and it helped. In that moment, I used the anxiety medication. However, as I continue to build on what I'm educating myself around mental health and perimenopause, around like how I can feed myself using the stress management skills and all those things, I'm hoping not to need it again. It was just so overwhelming on Friday that I felt like I needed a little bit more support, and that's okay. Right. I will be getting on hormones within this next month. And then my psychiatrist and I talked about it. She goes, well, you may not even need the dose that we have of your medication now because the hormones are going to help so much. So I'm doing this with you. I want you to know that. And it sucks, you guys. Oh, I forgot to tell you the rest. So, Mark, I had the conversation with the psychiatrist, and he the next day goes, are you feeling better? I know you were feeling off. Like, do you feel better today? It was just really sweet. I'm like, that's really nice. So that's what gave me the idea of doing like spousal support or like education in the mindset of menopause or partner support, where I have your guys come on and I educate them about what's happening in your body and I answer their questions. Very like surface level, unless they want to go there, obviously teaching them how they can support you. So I think that would be really, really cool. So let me know your thoughts. Okay. Now, one of the things that we talked about, it's cognitive behavioral therapy. What is that? That is the idea of catching your thinking, right? And then instead of engaging in the behaviors we normally engage in, we do something different. And that's what brings me to today's topic, which is why the perfect plan always backfires. This is one of the most toxic patterns that sneaks into my clients' life like a thief in yoga pants. It's all or nothing thinking. This concept of, well, I had the cookie or I had the nachos at the work happy hour on Friday, so fuck it. I ruined my plan, so I'm just going to keep going until Monday. Or I didn't have time to go to the gym for the hour and a half, so I might as well not go. I hear this all the time. I was actually talking to a really close friend at a dinner on Friday, and she said, I listened to your content and you introduced the concept of all or nothing thinking to me. And she said, oh my gosh, that's exactly me, and gave me several different examples of what she was doing and then thus how that affected her results, even her mood, her body. And I thought, let's revisit this because it is such an important subject. And like I said, it's one of the most toxic cognitive distortions that we have. And for women, all or nothing thinking shows up, especially as we get older, especially as we get into our careers and we evolve into being a partner, a mother, a leader. I feel like it gets worse and worse if we don't get it under control. And for most people, when we talk about all or nothing thinking, it's this kind of black and white thinking, right? And it really seems to be around this concept like if I'm not perfect, then I'm lazy or I'm not disciplined enough or I'm unmotivated. And this perfect is whatever you put into it. Perfect is I'm going to work out for 90 minutes, 5 days a week, because you think in your mind that's what you see the influencer do who looks ripped and amazing, not realizing that that's their job, right? And they have a gym that they work for, or that's all they do all day, and you don't. But that's your perfect plan. And if anything is outside of that perfect plan, you are going to scold yourself first and put yourself down first before anyone else can do it, which is kind of silly because I don't think anyone else knows you're going to the gym 5 days a week unless you're telling them. If you're asking for accountability over something you can't be successful with, and that is your fault still. We'll talk about it. But you say, well, I'm going to call myself a failure. Or I'm going to put myself down first. And then you go into your piece of shit. You might as well just give up and you go into the nothing. And the nothing, this pattern alone, is why you're not seeing results. This pattern alone. It's not the diet you chose. It's not the exercise program you chose. It's not the supplements you chose. This is it. Because you can very much out eat progress or out sabotage progress in the 2 days that you do the nothing. You might do the all 5 days and the nothing 2 days, and you have cross canceled your progress. So, where does this come from? It's definitely a trauma response. It's a trauma response that is kind of dressed up like productivity or quality control, as I often say. When we feel out of control, whether that is because there's a lot going on, or like even like I just talked about, like in midlife, your hormones are all over the place, whether that's because you're going to have your period, because you're postpartum, because you're perimenopausal, because you're a fucking woman. Your energy is very unpredictable and your stress is off the charts, right? As we get older, these things become true and our brains crave control, certainty, a system, rigidity, right? And this false comfort of all or nothing, black or white, comes in to rescue us. It feels clean. It's rules you can follow. It's a structure. But if you're already stretched thin, because you know you are, you will be physically, emotionally, and metabolically all over the place. And it becomes completely unstable. That instability turns to self blame, and you kind of keep swinging between these two extremes, and you call it failure, right? You swing between the clean, rigid control and being unsustainable, and unsustainability again is your failure. And you just keep swinging and starting again and doing it over and over again and expecting a different result. So I wanted to break down what actually happens in your nervous system when it comes to all or nothing thinking. Neurologically, all or nothing thinking keeps your nervous system in like this hyperarousal state, right? So we're pinging between the overdrive and the collapse, overdrive and the collapse. And stress is a really good thing when it is regulated. It does give us this idea of like, I'm stressed about launching the new program and making sure it's got everything that I imagine that we'll have. And that drives me, right? It gives me that energy to do.
You know what drives my clients absolutely crazy is they're eating clean and doing all the workouts, but they don't see the weight budge. Their sleep is all over the place. Their hormones are through the roof and they feel like they're going crazy.
Yeah, it's frustrating because 9 out of 10 times it's something hormone related that no one's looking at. It's perimenopause, menopause. Our biology internally has shifted, but no one's changing the strategy as far as approach.
What if perimenopause support included like therapeutic guidance, nutrition, exercise, and hormonal support all in one place?
Seriously, it would be great if you didn't have to track down like 10 different experts just to feel like yourself again.
That's why I created the Mindset of Menopause and have partnered with Dr. Jordan Trapp to create a comprehensive plan to your hormonal health.
Together, we are making medical insight meet emotional strategy. So your symptoms make sense, your plan actually works, and your power comes back online.
This isn't just support. This is your comeback season.
Click below for more information.
However, if we're constantly driving like that all the time, then we go into that pinging, right? Overdrive, go, 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 and boom, collapse. And that's why we often feel burnt out and frozen. Okay. So when you do the workouts, the perfect plan, I'm going to do it for 90 days, plus I'm not going to eat all the food. And I do that for 5 days a week, right? I mean, that overdrive, but it's so mentally taxing because it's so outside of what actually fits into your life that you burn out, but you feel frozen and paralyzed. And the default is just to say, I can't do it because I'm paralyzed. I'm collapsed. So I can't. And the can't is the opposite. It's no rules. And what just dawned on me is it's not so I'm choosing to do the opposite. It is I can't anymore. I've hit my threshold and I don't have rules. So I'm just not going to have rules. I hope that makes sense. I don't think people necessarily like, I'm choosing to have the fuck it's. They feel so burnt out and frozen that what evolves from that is the fuck it's. Very small nuanced difference, but it kind of just dawned on me as I was talking about that. Psychologically, we start attaching morality, right, to our actions. So good days versus bad days. You lose nuance, right? You lose self-compassion for who you are as a human and being imperfect. And you start believing that you're either a high performer, someone who's, I won't even say the word consistent because I don't think that when you're in that all or nothing consistency, if you do think it's consistency, consistency is always on, right? So you're always on, or again, you're always failed, burnt out, and frozen. And psychologically, what we start to do, so again, neurologically, we're in that overdrive to collapse. That's our nervous system. Psychologically, so that's more of the emotional, mental, right? We are in the if you are in overdrive, you're good. So we're associating overdrive with our worth, right? As a heightened sense of self-worth. Or if we're in the collapse frozen, we are bad. So now you just see how dirty and messy that this can get. And then physiologically, your body can't heal in this on off. It can't heal. It thrives on consistency. It does not thrive on intensity. And honestly, it really doesn't thrive on you being so fucking mean to it. What does thrive when nothing thrives when you're acting that way towards it, right? Your body needs regulation. It doesn't need that restriction. And so, how do we exit the extremes? Very, very important. How do we break away from all or nothing, break away from the perfect plan? Number one, you need to be aware that you do it. Just like my friend Michelle, she said, I didn't never even realized I just was going on my merry way doing this all or nothing thing until you pointed it out. And I said, holy shit, that is me. Are you this person? And be fucking real with yourself because that part of your brain's gonna be like, but I need to do this. If I don't do this, then I'm just gonna be a lazy piece of shit. No, you're not. Promise you. You are not. It's kind of funny when the perfect part of our brain starts talking because it'll be like, well, if you don't do it this way, then enter whatever then statement it gives you. But that alone causes you to do the then, to do nothing, and then you end up gaining weight. It's not the it's not if you do it the perfect way, it's because you're trying to do it perfectly that you actually sabotage yourself to end up gaining the weight or not going to the gym, whatever it is. It's very much a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we want to name the pattern. Let's bring the subconscious conscious. And with the pattern, name the all of the things you all. This doesn't have to always relate to health and wellness. Remember, this is the mindset mirror connection. Are you all in with relationships? I was just watching Love Island and there's kind of some love bombing going on. And when the new bombshells come in, the girl wants to run away and do nothing. So there's relationships, work, right? All of your alls. So everything you go balls to the wall with. And then when you burn out from that, what is the nothing? And for some of you, burnout is few and far in between. I have some clients are like, I actually don't really go nothing, but also my body is starting to become nothing because I'm always in overdrive. So some of you, the nothings aren't necessarily the buckets, eating all the food, drinking all the drinks. It's my body shutting down. I can't get good sleep, those types of things. Because I know for me, I can push through all for a long time if I want to. The next is meeting in the middle or that gray area or what I call your norms or your minimums, right? So looking at your workouts and thinking about what can I do on my worst week. This is incredibly important. So many women think it has to be the right timing to take care of yourself. There is no right timing. Tell me any time of your life that's exactly the same week over week. Never. Guarantee never. There's always going to be something coming up, right? I was thinking about this because I'm having a real hard time taking some space right now. I've taken on my new client in the load, which I love you guys. I have myself and Laura who's helping. She's going to be leaving at the end of the fall. She's retiring. And I'm trying to shift into this cohort style coaching so I can see more people, but do it in a way that protects my time with the clients I currently have, right? And for me, I'm really struggling because I am doing things throughout the day and I want to go see my dad. And I have a lot of guilt around that. And I want to be able to see him like for X amount of time. And I'm starting to do that like rigid thinking. And it's hard because they do live 45 minutes away from me. So like driving 45 minutes and being there for 30 minutes and driving, like it's harder just because of logistics. But I can see myself kind of going like, what's the perfect plan? And I had to bring myself down and like think of the norms. And what I was getting at is I'm having a lot of worst weeks recently where I have to reassess. And the beautiful thing is I coach this, I preach this, and I'm able to adjust the knobs of my boombox, which I'll talk about, so then I can carve out some time to then go see my dad. But I just want to share that like my life isn't this easy thing that I can just do these things willy-nilly and create these norms and all of that, and neither is yours. And the stressors just they just keep fucking coming. And I want to have that week where I have this easy week. I think this next week is going to be relatively easy. Thumbs up to that. But also I'm launching the that's not true because all the time that I have, I'm going to be launching the program because there's so many parts to it. So what does your worst week look like? And for some of you, that worst week, you may not know, but at least for now, what does my worst week look like? And what do I know I absolutely can do? Make that your minimum. If I can do 2 workouts per week, I'm happy with that, especially if my week is complete shit. Or we're in the week and we're realizing, oh, this is a shit week. I'll adjust. Because I need you to recognize when you're super stressed out like that, you don't have the energy to do the workouts. Plain and simple. And you need to recover. You need to rest. And I'm not even talking about what's going on with your hormones and during that time. You need to say, I am taking care of myself by doing these 2 workouts on my worst week. And if I know I do my 2 workouts on my worst week, then I can excel on my best week. So finding your norms. Now, coming back to the boombox theory, if you are new to this podcast, think about an old boombox where they used to have the treble, the bass, the volume. Each knob is a way we take care of ourselves. You have your nutrition knob, you have your exercise knob, you have your movement knob, 2 different knobs, rest, recovery, and stress management. Okay. And on any given week, if we are traveling for work that week, that's a stressor in itself. We may turn down the exercise knob, turn up the nutrition knob, right? So maybe we really focus on how we're eating. Maybe we go to this grocery store and buy some yogurts and ask for a mini fridge. Maybe we walk to and from the office. I'm thinking because my husband's actually leaving to go to his office in Ohio. And right now, he is making some protein balls. He has gotten snacks. He'll make a couple sandwiches for himself. And he stays at the Hilton. He will get a refrigerator and he'll walk to and from work. Will he get a workout in every day? Probably not, because he has meetings and then dinners. So nutrition knob is up, exercise knob is down, movement knob is up. Maybe sleep and recovery isn't great when you're traveling, so that might be down. But then he can do some stress management, like walking, listening to a podcast, doing some breath work, whatever that looks like. So you can adjust those knobs at any point in time. You are allowed to do that because guess what? It's your fucking life. Yay! No one is here to tell you that you can't. I guess I kind of do, but all right. Next, we want to normalize fluctuation, right? We want to normalize that you're not failing because your energy varies from day to day, especially as I just talked about. I was dead. I have never felt like that. Or I have, and I just pushed it off, but I was so aware of it that I experienced it even more. And not in a bad way, like in a good way. Like I witnessed it rather than like got consumed by it. And my energy was off. It varied from day to day. And that's being in a hormonal body. That's what it's called. Especially again, as we transition into postpartum, into perimenopause, into our fucking period, right? You have to expect the change. You need to be fluid and flexible and say, again, I'm going to adjust those knobs. I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to accept this is where I'm at this week. And this is what I'm doing for myself. And I'm still going forward. I didn't turn around. I didn't make a U-turn for my goal. I'm still on the same road. And that is okay. Last is fine. You're enough. I love this. I love this. I love this. I don't remember where I heard this. Instead of asking, did I do it all today? We're going to ask, did I support myself today? Did I honor my body's capacity today? And did I stay curious, not cruel or criticized? Y'all know I was going to throw that in there. That is enough. Okay. So here's the truth for today. All or nothing thinking is a lie designed to keep you swinging between overperformance and shutdown. We don't want either of those. The power is in the middle. It's in self-regulation. It is not in self-punishment. And you deserve to have this balance. You deserve to have options. You deserve to have flexibility. This is something in your control. You talk about control. This is what control looks like. So if you are someone who struggles with this, if you're someone who is going through the transition of perimenopause, the mindset of menopause is going to talk about how to begin to set boundaries with yourself internally and externally in this phase of life. You're going to learn how to manage your emotional barriers or your emotional stress so that we are not going into collapse and burnout. And we're going to give you various options based on how you feel for your movement and exercise, and teach you how to feed yourself in a way that doesn't feel so all or perfect. It's a guide. It's not rigid rules. So if you're interested, check out the show notes below. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel wherever you listen to this podcast. And I'm going to leave you the same way I always do, reminding you this, that what you see in your mind, you see in the mirror. Bye-bye.